Hey, everyone. Welcome to Wrestling for the Weekend. We are November 5th, 2023. And we're going to talk about some AEW today. And we're not going to be doing the whole AEW doom and gloom that everybody's doing. We're going to talk about some stuff that we enjoyed for the week. We're going to preview Dynamite for next week, which is shaping up to be a pretty large one. Large, definitely meant as a double entendre there. So we'll talk about that soon. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. Probably not gonna go quite as long as we usually do. As you've noticed, we don't have Chris today, but we do have our wonderful friend Brendan. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Just was excited for Dynamite coming up Wednesday because, like you said, it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a really good one. Some really exciting fresh matches have been announced. I'm personally like, there's some heavy meat that we're going to be seeing, as well as some people that we haven't seen in a while that just came back on Collision. But we'll get right into it. So the way we're going to go about things today, we're going to go through the two main shows and kind of just highlight what we liked. We're going to talk about, like we said earlier, the upcoming Dynamite, and we're probably going to preview a little bit of Full Gear and maybe give some early predictions on that. And then we're going to call it a day. So let's get right into Dynamite. Fairly eventful Dynamite. I noticed a lot of people on the online sphere found a lot to dislike about it, which is fair. I mean, people got their opinions. That's totally fine. Yeah. But there was a lot of things in this episode that I thought were really good. I thought there's a good setups for Full Gear, some intertwining storylines that I thought were interesting, and some pretty decent matches to boot. First one was OC and Claudio, which I actually thought was really, really good. OC did get the win, but as usual, by the skin of his teeth, and he took a lot of damage in this match. Claudio threw him around like a child, and it was a lot of fun. And then after the match, we had Mox come out and do some extra damage to OC, which then later on led to Mox cutting a promo, making the match official between Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley for the international title at Full Gear. Really fun match and good setup. What did you think about this match, about the upcoming match at Full Gear as well?
Yeah, it was a great match, and then, like, honestly, at one point I thought Claudio might get the win, but like you said, as always, Orange Cassidy just pulls it up by the skin of his teeth. And
he's the pin master. He's the pin and counter master.
And then at the aftermath, at one point when Moxley was beating on Orange Cassidy, part of me at one point thought Claudio was about to stop him, like, because the way he was looking, I was like, damn. Like, he's about to, like, pull him off and like, man,
Well, especially that we've seen Claudio kind of get these shock wins with like kind of like unconventional moves as well in the past. Like, he's won with the uppercut, the pop-up uppercut. He's won with a regular uppercut. He's won with the swing. He's always been booked as a very dangerous guy in AEW, even if he's not like a top guy. He's a top guy when he was holding the ROH title, and he does seldomly lose. And Orange is beat up. So even with especially that we didn't really know, like, I know Mox is back, right? Yeah. But we don't know how back he is. We don't know in what kind of shape he's in, if he was ready for the match at Full Gear. So before Mox came out and made the match official, Claudio winning could have been possible because of that. And also because of the fact that he wants to challenge Okada. So who knows, maybe, there was a chance where he could win the belt, and then maybe him and Okada would be for the international title, which would be interesting.
Oh, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good match.
Whew. Yeah, I think it's going to happen at some point, because I do think that, like, he wouldn't be calling out Okada for no reason. I think Okada's going to smoke him, though.
Oh, definitely.
Well, smoke him. He's going to win the match. I shouldn't say smoke him. He's not gonna he's not gonna job out Claudio like he's nothing. But I think honestly, I think that match might end up being almost as exciting as the Danielson match, just because of the style and just how big Claudio is, right?
Oh yeah.
Because Okada's a big guy too. So yeah, that was a really fun stuff that happened there. That's one. So that's one more match official for Full Gear. There's a couple more that were announced on this Dynamite, which is earlier than what we've seen in the past. Which is, again, I think is a positive thing to take from this week, is that they're actually setting up stories. Yeah. You know, if you don't like the stories, hey, you know, that happens and that's totally chill. But they are setting up stories and they are setting up the matches, and there's about 4 or 5 matches already official for Full Gear, and there's still a couple of weeks to go. So that's really encouraging news to me.
Definitely.
So up next, I have that my next highlight was the Young Bucks losing the titles, which was unexpected in my opinion. I don't know, how did you feel that result was? Was it a fairly big shock to you?
Yeah, because I just won him 2-3 weeks ago, and I wasn't ready for him to lose him yet, so I was like, shit.
Yeah,
so I think I get why they're because of this backstage stuff, which we can talk about in a little bit, that happened afterwards.
Yeah, we can talk. We can talk about it right now, really, if you want, because it kind of makes sense to talk about it. I think so too.
Yeah, at least the Bucks are anyway.
Yeah, see that's the next thing I have in this segment is are the Bucks turning heel? Now, for those who didn't watch, the Young Bucks kind of got their butts kicked, and during the match, Swerve came out and he distracted Hangman. Touchdown.
Yeah,
excellent. But yeah, so Hangman got distracted by Swerve, and he straight up left them. He left the Young Bucks in the ring with all 3 of the Gates of Agony. Or the Mogul Embassy, I guess. In this case, was the Mogul Embassy, right?
I think it's kind of both. That's their team name within the team name or something. I'm not sure how that works.
And either way, man, they beat the crap out of them. The Bucks just took a massive beating, as soon as Hangman left, and they lost the titles. Which at first, I gotta say, part of me was a little bit annoyed because it was like, well, they did nothing with those titles.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, there was a backstage segment where the Bucks were like, hey, what was the point of us all getting back together if we're all going to do our own thing and not help each other out? Which was like, okay, so they're actually making something out of this, and they're making a storyline out of the fact that they did nothing with those titles together and that they've been completely disconnected since getting back together. Which is good, because I don't know if we talked about it here a few weeks ago, but kind of BT has not been around for a couple of weeks, and Kenny's just been doing his own thing the whole time. Hangman's been doing his own thing, and then they randomly win those belts and do nothing with them. It was kind of a bit strange, and it was kind of like, what's going on with the Elite? Other than Kenny, who's been featured very well, everybody, and I guess Hangman would Swerve. The Bucks especially have kind of been lost in the shuffle. They still have won that thing where they can challenge but they haven't talked about it at all, which is really weird. So they kind of went off on the rest of the Elite. They went off on Jericho being in their locker room because he's tagging with and he's like, they brought back up the fact that they feuded with Jericho when Jericho was in his first faction, and they beat up his dad and bloodied him up. I don't know if you remember that. This was I think it was year 1 or year 2, but Papa Buck got bloodied up, right? So they remember that, and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing in our locker room? This guy's a douche, basically. So there's something building there, and I agree with you that I really do think they're going to turn heel. I can see all of them turning heel because they all have a reason to. I'm just not sure if it's going to happen. Kenny, for example, Kenny doesn't really matter if he's a face or a heel, in my opinion. He's still going to be the best bout machine. He's still going to be awesome.
Exactly.
Hangman's a better fit. Well, you know what? I don't know. I haven't seen Hangman as a heel
Yeah, I
in
know he's been
AEW.
one, but not in AEW yet. Like
He's been one when he was smaller and like kind of he was more of a henchman back then, right?
So I forget. Let's say because I didn't watch. So I don't really.
Well, he was
Yeah,
I know that he turned heel with Cody on Kenny back in the BC days in New Japan, and I think he was a heel in ROH. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't watch. If Chris was here, he could probably tell us.
probably.
Or if there's people in the chat that know, please let us know. But yeah, so that's really interesting. I'm now I think they're gonna like they might even if they are turning heel, I think they might do it in a way where like somebody beats Ricky and Big Bill and they're celebrating and then they get cashed in on in a really in a really shitty way. I'm not sure who that's gonna be, but it could be fun. That's what I would do. Because like I think we both agree that like they're better as heels. They've always been better as heels. People like to hate them, and people who are going to cheer them are going to cheer them regardless if they're heels or.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of people who want to. They want to boo these guys. So why not just give them what they want? They're they're great at being dicks.
If they turned all the elite heel, don't do it all at once. Like do it like the Bucks first, and then like sometime later you can do like Hangman, and then Kenny. Don't like all at one time.
That would be fun, actually. Yeah, I like that idea of staggering the heel turns instead of all of them together at once. Because I think there's still some meat on the bone for Kenny to be a face until he has to kind of like finish his feud with Don Callis because it's it's kind of lasting forever.
True.
It's kind of ironic that like people usually say that about Jericho, but this feud, I mean, Jericho is in this feud now, so it's going to last forever. But it was already lasting really long when it was just Kenny. I'm ready to see some more singles actions out of him too. So we'll see. I guess what we can talk about a bit of this weird match they've got set up for not this Dynamite coming up, but the one after the 4-man tag. So Coda's going to be there, which is awesome. But they've also got Tall Paul on their team. Are they facing? I can't even remember. Are they facing BC Gold? I believe
it was Don Callis and like his 4 people.
Or is it?
I don't know if Sammy will be back or not though.
Yeah, you're right. It is a Don Callis family. That's right. So it would be Takeshita, Hobbs. That's right, because they got the giant against Hobbs. That was the whole. Yeah, we have a giant. Yeah, that's so stupid. And then they've got Kyle Fletcher and I guess one more person.
If Sammy can be back, he'll probably be him, but I don't think he'll be back. But I think
is it only 3 right now?
Because it's supposed to be 4, yeah. But like I said, Sammy, last I heard, still ain't cleared, so I don't know.
I guess we'll find out soon enough. But either way, I mean,
there's more people on the painting on the Titantron, so I mean, obviously,
yeah, it'll be interesting. Nevertheless, I mean, I'm just glad it's not on pay-per-view because I don't think you want to trot out that. I think for a match on television, it's harmless fun. We'll get to see. I mean, we'll also get to see Ibushi for the first time on TV as opposed to just pay-per-view, which is pretty cool. So that's gonna be fun. Or I guess no, never mind. That's not true. I'm lying because he was on Blood and Guts, right? And that was on TV. Yeah. I'm lying. Don't listen to me. I'm a liar. But so that's interesting. So I hope that we get more of this in the coming weeks because I love me some elite drama. That's elite drama is what is like. It's kind of like the lifeblood of AEW. It's what started it. It was one of the big storylines to start, and I think that it's what's missing right now, especially with Punk not there. And I hate to bring him up, but like with Punk not there, you need to have a couple of like very strong storylines when it comes to the main event people. They've got that with MJF. But adding an important dramatic elite story, I think would help a lot. So I'm glad they're doing that. Did you have anything else to add about that whole elite stuff?
Nah.
Okay.
That's about all I was thinking to cover anyway.
Yeah, we can talk about the next I have on my list of highlights was the MJF friendship search.
Oh. I love that.
Yeah, it was a nice, fairly comedic, like a throughout episode storyline, right? So I don't remember exactly who I remember he talked to a few people.
No, he knocked on Kenny's door, but Jericho answered.
That's right. Yeah. So that's kind of led to the later thing of the Bucks not being happy with him there, which was kind of a nice touch of like the world being linked together and making sense. Yeah. So that was one of them. Who else did he try to ask? I'm trying to remember. Oh, he got accosted by one Wardlow who pinned him up against the wall in a very threatening fashion.
Yeah.
And read him his last rites that he's basically on site and going to whoop him whenever he least expect it and take everything from him. So that sucks for MJF.
No, he went to knock on Joe's door, but I can't remember if he actually did or not.
I don't think he did. I think he was going to, and then got distracted by the Acclaimed, who were trying to to court him, as they say. All episode. Damn it, Max! I know he's too horny for his own good. He's got a dirty brain, that Max Caster. Yes. He's got to mature up a little bit if he wants a serious relationship.
Hey, Danny Clever's at the game.
Oh, nice. But yeah, so that was a fun story, and then I know that Jeff Jarrett and them were laughing and trying to recruit him, and he was, and everyone was like, "Oh God, no, please no." But yeah, it was pretty fun. Ends up being the main event, and he ends up tagging with the Acclaimed against the I almost said Blackpool Combat Club, but against Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah,
match was actually really fun. Billy Gunn is still super over.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. He's still really over.
Yeah,
but we can talk about the match now since it kind of like blended into that, and we can go back to other stuff that happened. A really fun match that I also thought was one of the highlights of the episode, especially the ending, because we saw Jay White hit his finishing move and pin MJF in the middle of the ring and keep the belt. But more importantly, like I said, he pinned the champion, showing that, like, you know, not only showing that he's dangerous, but showing that he can hit Blade Runner out of nowhere. And if he hits Blade Runner, it's GG.
True.
And that's it, you know? So I thought they did a good job.
Good drama for the match. Like I was saying earlier, like how some people were upset about it. I'm like, set some good drama for the match. You know, he pinned the champion, so he showed he can do it. So now it's like when the match
I didn't mind it. Yeah, exactly.
Thinking, he beat him already. Can he do it again when it actually matters?
Exactly, when it matters, and you know, and it just shows you, like, also it puts over Blade Runner, right? Which I think is important. And that was a thing that was big when he was in New Japan. Is he's a counter wrestler and he's very sneaky. So if he sneaks up on you and he hits that move, it's over. You're dead. You're done, and he's gonna be champion. And then after the match, they went to go beat up Max some more, go to hit him with the belt, but Max Caster pushed him out of the way.
Took the bullet
for MJF. And then they asked for a scissor thing at the end. MJF was like, "No, I'm not doing that," because he thinks it's dumb. MJF, by the way, came out in a pink scarf, which was hilarious, and pink trunks. That was wonderful. But yeah, so and then Big Daddy Ass like told him, you fucking scissor him right now. I guess it's past 15 minutes. I can swear a little bit. But yeah, and then he actually did. And then, as we talked about before the show, there's a massive pop. We knew it was coming. We knew most of the whole segment was going to be just to build up him scissoring with them and to get the crowd happy. And it was awesome. I thought that was really fun. And there's still a lot of doubt in MJF now. I think more and more they're showing he's getting softer and softer, in a good babyface way. But I think that, like, in the back of some people's mind, you gotta think that that's like making him more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because he still refused Joe's offer. Another thing that was interesting about Joe's offer is that when he talked to earlier in the episode, he called Adam Cole, and Adam Cole was actually pushing for him to take Joe's offer, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. I didn't even hear
So
about that. I forgot that he did it, but
yeah, right. So it's an interesting little tidbit that I think could kind of be, planting the seeds to something maybe that Adam Cole isn't as on his side as we think it is, or maybe here's a theory. Adam Cole does not want MJF to lose the belt to Jay White for two reasons. First reason is he wants to be the one to beat MJF. Second one is Adam Cole does not have a very good record against Jay White. I know he doesn't have a good record against MJF either, but like he got completely destroyed by Jay White. Jay White's the one who injured him, in fact.
True.
Which is another reason why he might not want him to have the belt. I didn't even think about that. So that's three. That's three reasons. So yeah, I think I could see. Like, I still think Cole is involved in the attack of Jay White via the Devil, because I think he has all the reasons to really not like and want to take out Jay White, regardless of how he feels about MJF. So it'll be interesting. I'm still interested to see when we're going to get that Devil reveal. There's a couple more teases this week, right?
Yeah,
but nothing more than just an appearance.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how long they want to put it, because part of me is thinking that they could want to push it all the way to the last pay-per-view of the year, but that's a long time. Then it's not really that much longer. It's only like
6 more weeks, 7 more weeks at most. 6 more weeks is not that long.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot of events. So that's the problem, is that like they've got at least 4 big things. So they've got Full Gear. They've got the ROH pay-per-view. They've got World's End, and they announced Winter is coming as well, which is at the beginning of December in Texas as well. So that's 4 fairly large episodes / pay-per-view events. Can they stretch it out that long? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out too. I think we might find out more at Full Gear, especially where we're going to see who MJF's partner is going to be, because I don't see him doing a 1-on-2 again. I think he's going to have a partner.
Yeah, from the graphic I seen, it had like question mark, like him,
a silhouette, right? It had the vacant silhouette.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting stuff there. Very interesting stuff. I think it's exciting to see what more they're gonna do. It's a bit of a slower burn on that aspect, but the odds are stacking more and more and more against MJF, right? More and more people dislike him.
Like I say every week, MJF versus the world.
Yeah, it is going to be him versus. Man, I wonder what the match is going to be at for Worlds End, assuming he retains. Which we can talk about. I guess we can talk about a short preview now. What do you think is going to happen at Full Gear when it comes to Jay White and MJF? Because I'm actually not sure still. I can really see it going either way.
The only reason I think MJF retains was like I was saying. I think there's a reason. The last year that's supposed to be on his quote unquote contract is in his hometown,
I agree with you there. That's a very, very good point.
Like there's something to that where I don't know if they're going to go like trying to like recreate the Punk storyline or like recreate the kind of like screw job type deal,
Yeah, you're not the first person to mention that recreation of the Punk Off Into the Sunset storyline. I'm not sure. The only thing I'm not sure about that is like, had they not fired Punk, I would have been like, they're for sure doing that.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of puts the doubt in my mind.
Now I'm like, I don't know if they want to do that. I don't know if they want to like give attention to that. Who knows? Maybe they will. It could still work. But I kind of agree with you that it being in Long Island, MJF is most likely going to be champion. But who knows? He could be a rematch.
True.
I don't know. It's really, I can see a lot of positives in putting the belt on Jay White. I think he's getting good reactions. I think he's putting on banger matches, and I think that MJF's reign is getting close to where it should end. Like it just feels like it should end soon, right?
Yeah,
like
so
I don't think I'm wrong on that.
Reign.
Exactly. Usually that's the time to lose, right? That's what they do in WWE all the time. Like just as soon as you break they don't do it anymore, but they used to do this all the time. Where as soon as you'd break the record, you'd lose like the next week on Raw.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think MJF retains, but I think the devil helps him. And I think the devil helps him without him asking for it, and he acts confused at the end.
Yeah.
That could be cool, I think. And maybe the devil unmasks himself at the end of the show, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But I think I think at the very least, what happens is that they'll show that the devil and MJF are not the same person.
Yeah. We'll get that reveal at least there. Yeah.
Cool. See if I have anything else for. Oh, Hangman and Swerve 2 being official. That's another thing.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
So that, like, it was kind of like a short thing. They didn't really have like a one-on-one segment, but during the Swerve, or it was after Swerve teased Hangman and Hangman chased him out. Later in the night, they announced the match was made official for Full Gear. So that's another really exciting match for Full Gear. We can get right into that as well. What do you think is going to happen with this match? I know they've got a couple of more weeks of build, but who do you foresee getting away with the win here?
I'm thinking they'll do Hangman this time just so they can do like the rubber match and have like the third and final match, because you don't want to, I guess, have Hangman lose 2 times to him like right away. But then again,
Then again, you could.
Big for Swerve.
It would be big for Swerve to beat him twice. I think he should, but big but. The way this feud has been made this time around, Hangman's been kind of looking like a bitch.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Hangman can lose again, unless he loses again, and like that's really the catalyst to him like changing again.
Yeah.
Whether that's being still good but being more serious, or whether that's just going full on raging alcoholic jerkbag again. Yeah. I don't know which one it's going to be. I kind of
want to see that.
I kind of want to see that too. I kind of want to see Hangman as a heel. Not sure if there's enough babyface. I guess if MJF stays a babyface, it's doable. But like, yeah, I don't know. The only thing that's the big thing.
People coming in soon, probably. I mean, there's some contract, non-compete clauses that in the middle of June that end.
That is true. You never know who could be coming in or who could be leaving. They could. You never really know. That's the thing, right? Like that's the one thing when we were talking about earlier about the Bucks turning heel, and why I agreed with you on how Hangman and Kenny should probably stay faces at least for a little bit. They don't have that many top faces right now, especially with Danielson like half hurt. Moxley, I don't really consider a top baby face. He's a tweener. And then who else?
The whole group is. I mean,
yeah. So outside of MJF and Kenny and Hangman, who else do we have as like top faces?
Yeah, there's really ain't any.
Like I'm not gonna say Jericho because he's not really a face. He is right now, but like he's not really relevant. He's not a top guy right now. He's just not. I guess Copeland.
Yeah.
Copeland, Darby, but they're kind of doing a mid-card thing right now, right?
True.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like they're not like in the main event right now. There's only it's really only Kenny and Hangman, and even Hangman is kind of like doing an upper mid-card feud with Swerve, so it's really only only Kenny and MJF.
Yes, I mean they need a little bit of help in that department.
They do. They need some faces. So that's why I'm like, if you turn both those guys heel, then like, who do you have left?
Right.
Unless you're gonna like elevate some other guys, but like you already turned Takeshita heel, and then now they just turned a couple of other guys. You have Sammy's heel. I guess you got Darby. You can bring Darby up a little higher up in the card, but I don't know. I think you need Kenny to stay face for a little bit. Yeah. Unless Mr. Ospreay comes in as a face, then that would help.
True.
We'll see. Some interesting stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure who wins that match. I think I agree with you. I think that Hangman's going to win because like he's kind of been setting up to look bad, and he lost the last one. It would be nice if they had the rubber match at World's End and then Swerve won the feud.
Yeah.
For some sort of title shot, or you could have Swerve win this match and then he's the one who challenges MJF at World's End. That'd be sick too. I'd love that.
Oh, that'd be a good match.
And then you can have Swerve win. which I know, like I don't know if like people are down with that, but I think that would be good. I think if you're not going to put the belt on Jay White, I think you should put the belt on Swerve, because I think he's your next top heel, and he's really good, and it would elevate him a lot.
And kind of make like Swerve is someone who's finally kind of grown on me. I've not really been like the
okay, fair enough.
This feud has helped a bit, so like I kind of don't know if I want to see that, but
it's interesting. Like say you gotta say your piece. If he's not your guy and you'd rather not, that's fine too. I guess you're more of a Jay White guy. Like Jay White, you'd be more interested.
Yeah, I'd be fine with Jay White winning, because like I said, I've liked him for a bit now.
Yeah. I can see why Swerve might not be everybody's cup of tea. Like he hasn't been pushed as a top guy consistently for a long time, right? Whereas I find with Jay, they did a really good job. Like he may have not been pushed to the main event the second he got here, but he was made to feel important. He almost never lost, never took a pin.
Yeah.
And they did a good job at like, no, this guy is very important. Whereas Swerve, he had some of those feuds that never kind of finished, right? True. But he did have that really good tag with tag run with Keith, which I really miss. We can move on. We can move on to Collision if you want. Let's see what we got here. Just making sure I didn't miss anything from Dynamite. We could talk a little bit, I guess, real quick about because Tony was involved of Willow Shida, which was great. And we can kind of talk about last week, because we didn't have a show last week, but about Shida on Collision, or not Shida, but Tony Storm last week on Collision, randomly laying down in front of on the booth and pulling I think it was like a tangerine, a small orange from her trunks, and started eating and ate it with the skin on. She's just psycho. But yeah,
the other one to which one did she head it to? The other one, like
to Nigel.
Yeah,
and Nigel refused to eat it. But yeah, we had a really good match between Shida and Willow Nightingale, and a few things happened from that. One thing that happened is that Shida tried to mess with Shida again, but Shida would have none of it this time. She ran up the ramp and kneed her right in the face, and that was that. And then they kept fighting, and then that match is also official for Full Gear, so that's going to be awesome. But then after the match, Julia Hart came back and got in. No, sorry. Did Julia? No, sorry. Willow. Sky came out first, and then Julia came out, and it looked like Sky was going to turn on Willow, but then she just sprayed blue mist on Julia Hart instead, and looks like she's kind of just doing her own thing. And they talked about it on Collision as well. Like she's still Willow's friend, but she doesn't care about anybody else. So she's kind of like a tweener right now. Attitude shift.
She's like I did it because I like her.
Yeah, she's like, I don't. Yeah, and then Statlander was kind of mad. That was on Collision, but this match was really good, and I thought it was fun that they're setting up a non-title women's feud on top of that. That's some steps in the right directions in the women's in the women's direction. I wish that they would have more matches, but we're not going to focus on that today. We're going to focus on what we are getting, and that stuff's been really good. I really like what they've been doing with Willow, Statlander, and Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. She's got a match on Dynamite coming up too, which is kind of fun. So it's nice to see that her break was very short and she's already back on TV. So keep on rolling with that. Collision opened up. Swerve and AR Fox. Really fun match. AR Fox attacked Swerve in the back while he was cutting a promo before the match started. So that started with some heat there. Swerve won, as expected, but the match was pretty dope. Yeah. And after the match, they were beating the crap out of AR Fox, but FTR and LFI both came out to chase off Gates of Agony, and also Ricky and Big Bill also had come out at that point to beat up some people. So there's kind of like they're kind of setting up some stuff for later in the show. But LFI had a large presence on this show.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that in the main event. Next thing that was really cool. Oh, before I get there, so later in the evening, Swerve was cutting a promo about how awesome he was, and Alex Abrahantes came out and said that Penta didn't like what Swerve did to Hangman and his family. He said that the thing Penta cares the most after wrestling is family, and that he's not down with Swerve's bullshit. So he challenged him to a match on Dynamite. So that's good. That's another match they announced for Dynamite: Swerve against Penta. That's gonna be some sick shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have a chance of being one of the better matches of the night.
I think so too. I think
anytime Penta's in a match, it's better matches of the night. So let's be honest.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about this segment too is Swerve was being very menacing, and he also mentioned that both him and Penta used to wear masks when they used to wrestle before, and he can't wait to see what's behind Penta's mask. And he's referring to the fact, of course, that he was Killshot in Lucha Underground. So I always like when they kind of like do those little callbacks to those old promotions. I find that really fun. Little Easter eggs.
Swerve made a few of those references to Killshot.
It's not the first time that he's made references for sure.
He just did a few weeks ago in the promo when him and Hangman had their little contract signing.
That's right. He made his little line there, his little rap line, which was pretty good. And next we had a very physical fucking match between Darby and Lance Archer. Lance beat the living shit out of Darby Allin. It was pretty rough. Darby barely survived and managed to get the pin, but I love this match, and what I loved more was the post match, which I thought everybody that was in the chat last night and people who came out after had some really positive things to say about this pairing. I really liked it. I think you also really liked it. We had Jake the Snake come out, which we already knew was associated with. Sorry, let me rewind a little bit. Jake got kicked out of the mid match, and got sent to the back. But he came out after the match while Darby was celebrating, while cutting a promo. But he cut a promo over the Righteous music, and he came out with the Righteous. So he was talking with them, and then the Righteous also cut a little promo, and then they all beat up Darby. Really awesome pairing. I thought it was really well executed. And I think that pairing makes a lot of sense. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. Like, as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, man, this is a great pairing. Like, it makes, like you said, it makes sense. I mean, they kind of, like, Jake's like how the promos he used to cut back when he was, like, active, as a wrestler, kind of line up to the same type of promos that the Righteous cut. So, it's a great pairing it. I think it's going to do all of them some good.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I can totally see that similarity. That kind of the way the Righteous cut promos is very calm, but they're saying some very like dark and threatening stuff to you. But they're saying in a very like matter of fact, menacing, but in a low voice. They're not doing that like 100 miles an hour yelling in your face kind of promo. And you're right, that's exactly what Jake the Snake was known for. He kind of famous for that, right? Like he was kind of the only guy doing that back in the day, which was why he's so famous. Yeah. So I don't know. So that I don't know. It makes a lot of sense. Really glad to see Lance back. I hope that Lance sticks around and that this pairing sticks around, because I personally really like the Righteous. I didn't really care much about them before, mostly because I didn't know much about them. I only had seen like glimpses of them whenever I caught ROH like once in a blue moon. So I admit I had kind of written them off, but they've proven me wrong. Like they're really entertaining, and they make, I don't know, I find they fit really well at AEW. So as just that kind of like, they're a spooky group, but not really. They're more like a cult, I guess.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the House of Black, which are more like just straight up like spooky boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I really like this pairing. I know we had like we were laughing yesterday about the few people that for sure would like this pairing.
Yeah. And then one of them came in like not long after.
And he came in right away. Yeah, it's like we knew it. We knew he would love this. We knew it. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I like AEW for a lot. Like I know some of their pairings don't always hit, but they take a lot of chances pairing people together. And sometimes you get something like this that like you're like, oh wow, I never thought of that, but that makes so much sense. Like that's yes, I love this. I don't know if they're going to be involved in some more stuff like the MJF stuff that they were involved in before. I hope they are because they were kind of like being prophetic about that kind of shit, right? They were kind of telling the story while not being directly involved. So we'll see where that goes. But that was just some good shit. Yeah, I think that's about it for that segment. Next, I want to talk about our boy Mark Briscoe being back. And man, what a treat it is to have this dude back. He's been gone for a while. Like they had already been announced that he was coming back, but the show kind of started with him needing two partners because Kip Sabian confronted him, said he wanted to fight him. I'm actually a bit. I kind of forgot who Kip's partners were already. I'll look it up. I'll look it up real quick. But
damn, it was.
Workhorsemen, that's right. They called themselves the sex horsemen or something like that. Yes. It was very silly. It was very silly. But Kip got to cut a promo. Awesome. Love that. Love seeing Kip getting some. He's good. He was like his full-on Kiefer Sutherland Lost Boys look right now with the way he did his hair and his. I don't know, and he looks hilarious right now. But he challenged Mark Briscoe. Later in the night, we saw FTR meet up with Mark Briscoe, asking him if he needed help, and they're like, "No, you guys have a match later on. I'm good. I got some backup. I'm good."
Yeah.
We got to the match, and it turns out to be Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee, so that was pretty awesome. I think they had done a trios match together before, like a long time ago. I want to say, like on a Rampage. I want to say it was like a Rampage match, like a while ago, before the injury.
Yeah, things are good. I know Dustin and Keith Lee's been
they've been tagging for a bit. Now. Yeah, but I'm pretty.
It makes sense that could have happened.
I'll have to look it up for next time. We're going to keep talking now, but I'm pretty sure they were. Either way, it was a really cool match. It was short, and they got Kip and them lost as you would expect them to,
of course.
Which was really fun, and that was that fun little match. Which led into another promo by Mark Briscoe after the match, where he challenged Jay White. He cut a promo saying that before he got hurt, there was gold up in the hills, and that he wanted gold, and that he was feeling greedy, and that he was going to go for the big title. And he saw that Jay White's been parading around with a belt that's not his, so he wants a shot at it.
Yeah. He's like,
so he officially said that he wanted. That whoever wins this match gets the match against MJF. So that will happen on Wednesday, which is another match that I'm very excited for. Mark Briscoe against Jay White. It's going to be great.
We got two matches that could change the main event of Full Gear.
It could. I mean,
it won't happen, but I mean,
yeah, it won't happen. It could.
Kayfabe wise, I'm like, in the realm of the story. It could happen, but it's not gonna. But
yeah, I mean, I like that that Mark like didn't fully. He's like, I want a shot at the title, so I'm gonna beat up Jay White for a shot at the title. And he didn't say like I want Jay's belt, so I want Jay's shot at the title because he's a babyface, so he's obviously not going to be like, oh yeah, he's a champ. No, only a heel would say that. So that was a good a good detail. And then speaking of Keith Lee. Joe is cutting a promo in the back. He's talking about how it's unfortunate that that MJF didn't take him up on his offer, but that he's the longest winning ROH TV champion. He's beaten everyone. And as he says that he's beaten everyone, we get a large Keith Lee enter the shot who says, I'm sorry, sir. You've not beaten everyone. And I rewatched the segment a few times. The crowd gasps very, very loudly, probably the same way we all gasped at home, because that's a lot. That's a match that I think we haven't even thought about for a long time, because Keith Lee has, he's had his health issues, so we haven't seen him too much. But man, that's for Dynamite as well. And this match, I'm assuming it is for the ROH TV title. I can see Joe losing here, straight up. I can see Joe losing here. Yeah, I really can, and I think this match is going to be awesome. I think you'd be a fool not to be excited about this match. It's going to be two giant dudes. I'll let you talk about it too, because I mean we were all pretty excited about it.
Yeah, shit, like you said, it's going to be two big meaty men slapping meat.
It's definitely going to be a double order of meat for sure. It's going to be great, and I'm not sure.
Chance.
Yeah, and I think it's the first time in quite some time that Joe's had a TV match for that title specifically that I think he realistically could lose.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I thought he could lose. I mean,
because I know like he's kind of also feuding with Shane Taylor. So I could see Shane Taylor screwing Keith Lee out of the title or something, but I could also see Keith winning, and then Keith and Shane Taylor have a fight at Final Battle for that title, or you can even, you got it, man. You know where I was going with that, and I think that would be sick, right? That's a triple dose of meat. Why not add more? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shit, that match had to be sponsored by fucking Arby's.
Yeah, exactly. That could be a good sponsor for TK. Definitely a better sponsor than energy drinks.
True.
It's yeah. So I don't know. I can't be any more excited about this match, man. Like, I'm really happy to see that Keith Lee is healthy enough to have a singles match because. And against Joe, like
he looked a lot better the other night.
Yeah, I can't really explain it. I don't know if he's like lost some weight. I can't really tell. I'm not really like a body guy. I don't really care what people look like for the most part. But he looks healthier. I'll say that he looks healthier, and he was moving around better. He didn't look gassed or anything. So, yeah, man, I hope that this is the beginning of a turnaround for the guy because. I don't know about you and if you were a big fan of him before, but I was a huge fan of him before. And when he came into AEW, I was really excited.
Yeah, I liked him in NXT. That's the first time I seen him. I didn't really get to see him before that.
Yeah.
But when he came up, I was happy with it. I was like, cool.
Yeah, I really liked him in NXT as well because like I was a big NXT black and gold guy, and he was one of the guys I really really liked there. So it was like really disappointing that he never really got that same run in AEW. And I'm not expecting him to be a world champion or anything, not at this point, but I'd like for him to get like a real run of some sort. Yeah. So
TV title would be nice to have a run with.
Yeah. And I think him winning that ROH belt would be great, especially for the Shane Taylor feud, like we talked about. So that's another sweet ass match we've got for Dynamite. Like I said, we've got a really, really stacked Dynamite. MJF is also defending his title on next Dynamite. We didn't really go through Rampage, but Garcia won a match on Rampage and challenged MJF, and MJF accepted. Not much really more to it than that, honestly. There's not really much to discuss. Should be a really good match, but I think that one is just going to be a wash. Like MJF's going to smoke him.
Oh, yeah.
But who knows, like I say that, but I said that about Danielson and Garcia beat him twice. So
true.
Don't just because a match has an obvious just because a match has an obvious winner doesn't mean the winner is going to be obvious. In this case, I do think he's going to lose though, because there's still a title match in 2 weeks, so whatever. Yeah. But either way, I'm happy for Garcia doing his own thing. One thing I did hear on Rampage that happened is like the girls are breaking up for good. Right? Like they had like a kind of I'll keep wanting to call them the Riot Squad. I know they're not the Riot Squad. The Outcasts.
They kind of Outcasts are breaking.
Yeah, and then there's more like of that weird like Ruby and Comboy romance angle that's really weird.
And I thought they kind of also teased the 2.0 ain't they their tag name or whatever. What are they calling breaking up?
Oh, really? They teased those guys breaking up. Ooh.
it goes Daddy Magic was like kind of like mad at him or something. Like I was like, don't do this to me. I love this tag team.
Oh man, that would be so weird if they broke up. We'll have to see where that goes. But you know what? Like, I know Rampage gets like, you know, the short end of the stick a lot online, and that because of the time slot, it doesn't do great ratings. It doesn't always have the like craziest matches, but like this one had a really good match. And one thing I've noticed in Rampage is they've been having stories on there. They're lower card stories, but they're stories nonetheless. So like, you know, if you want to get your low card story fill on a quick show that's like 45 minutes without commercial, Rampage is your guy for that. It's a good show for that. It's been kind of fun. I've been enjoying it at least.
It's gotten these last few weeks have actually been pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, they've got a better flow. I find it's not just match. They've been breaking it up with some relevant story stuff and some promos that actually lead to some stuff, which is nice. Back to what's it called?
Collision.
We had a 69 celebration.
Oh God.
This was okay. This was a segment that I think is going to get a little bit of people are either going to love it or hate it. There was a little bit of awkwardness in this segment, mostly in the way they kind of like transition into the match. Was a bit weird. I didn't dislike it though. I didn't dislike it. It was awkward and maybe not the most seamless transition. But the jokes were hilarious. Nigel was on point, man. Nigel was he was on point last night. I'm not going to repeat some of the stuff he said, but he was making some lewd comments. It was pretty funny. Max Caster wants the 69 forever. That was a thing. What else? Billy Gunn said some stuff that was questionable as well. Like, I'm not sure how I'm going to 69 every single one of you. That was a bit weird. It was funny though, but it was weird. And then
we had the gift for Max.
Oh, the gift for Max. Yes. I forgot about this. You're right. And they had the gift for Max, which was MJF on the Titantron saying, "Yay, scissoring," I guess. But Max was super happy, so that's all that matters. Yay. So and then we had Dalton Castle come out with the boys and ruin the celebration and smash the trophy, which was very uncharacteristic of him. Yeah. I don't know why he did that. Seems like maybe a bit of a heel turn for Dalton. I guess in this case it really wasn't. I don't know if it was a heel turn, but it was like he was a heel here. He got beat up a little bit. They had a match which they lost. And then Dalton had like I don't know if you saw, he posted like a promo on Twitter afterwards, where he blamed he said he sent him an email to be part of the celebration, but they didn't answer the email, so he was upset that they forgot about him, and he was mad that they ignored him, so he threw a tantrum and like ended up like laying on the floor and telling everybody to go away. It was a really good promo.
I gotta watch it later.
Yeah, I posted it on the Collision thread. It's just him having a tantrum. It's pretty great. So he wants another shot at those belts. So it doesn't sound like that's over, which is nice. So that was another fun thing. I think some people probably are going to dislike the way they transitioned from the celebration to the match. It felt like it was going a bit long. But I mean, it wasn't anything like too bad. It was just kind of like, okay, well, let's wrap it up. The match, the match itself was not the best, I'll say that. So, but it was fun.
I could definitely see them maybe winning the trios titles from the Acclaimed at some point.
I could see it. They did pass the what the heck are they called? The evil guys. House of Black, yeah. So they did pass House of Black's record as of last night. So
Yeah, no one's really held those titles for a long time.
No, they
69
haven't.
days
That's right.
is the-
No, that's right. 69 days is the current record. I guess today's 70.
yeah,
So I could see them losing it, but I don't know. I don't think Delton's gonna be the one unless he finds better.
better partners. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's kind of his crutch, right? Like he loses a lot, but it's almost always them taking the falls. It's almost always their fault. Because I mean,
Yeah.
like they're jobbers. Like I think they're really fun, but they're jobbers. Like, they've been presented as jobbers for like 10 years or whatever, however long they've been around. Probably not 10 years, but a while.
yeah.
So it would be cool if he got new partners. I don't know who those could be, but that would be interesting, and they would actually give him a chance to win. Because I'm not really with House of Black being busy, LFI being busy. Is there really any other like prominent trios right now that's doing anything? Not really. There's Gates of Agony, but they won they won the ROH ones. So I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of which, the Gates of Agony also got added to the AEW roster page. So they're officially an AEW active now as well, which is very cool because I think they're awesome. Then we had the main event, which was the last thing really we got to talk about for this show. FTR and LFI team up, which is a really weird team up, but was pretty cool against Ricky, Big Bill, and who were the other two? I already forgot. Let me pull it up. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
I can't remember.
Gates of Agony, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
Duh. This match was quite fun. It was not as long as some of the other main events that we've had on Collision, which I think was a good thing. I don't think a 4-on-4 tag match needs to be half an hour.
No,
it just doesn't. A medium,
just long enough for all of them to get their shit in. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's a get your shit in match. Exactly. I think it went about like 15 to 17 minutes or something like that because there was some shenanigans after the match. Pretty good match. This was honestly mostly a Roosh showcase, though. Roosh beat that ass all match. He did the whole like whipping thing. He looked great. The crowd was like really into him too, which was nice. I was a bit afraid that he might not get the best reaction after being teased for so long and being away, but it was no problem. So that was awesome. He got the pin as well, which was also awesome. And then refused to shake the hands of FTR. And then it led to like a whole clusterfuck at the end where House of Black cut a promo on FTR and then showed up behind him and attacked them. And then by this time, LFI are gone. So basically, LFI only care about themselves and don't give a shit. Yeah. Which is fine. That makes perfect sense for their faction. So they're gone. FTR in the ring. They get jumped by House of Black, but then they get saved by Blackpool Combat Club. I believe it was Yuta and Claudio.
Yeah.
So they're kind of running back with the fight they had like a few weeks back, which I wasn't sure if they were going to keep going that because like Danielson was hurt, right? But it looks like they're going to keep going. And honestly, it sounds like Danielson's not that hurt. So
hopefully not hurt.
I mean, he's booked for January 4th for Wrestle Kingdom, so can't be that bad.
I seen that. I'm excited for that.
Man. Yeah, we can like
we pretty much knew it was happening, but
yeah. So we could because I didn't watch Power Struggle in full yet, but I would suggest people watch at least the main event because I've heard nothing but really good things about Will Ospreay against Shota.
Yeah,
apparently that match was awesome.
I get to watch it.
Yeah, it was apparently went like 40 minutes. It was really good. Anyways, but during Power Struggle, there was a Danielson video challenging Okada to a second match at Wrestle Kingdom at the Dome. Okada accepted. It's official. It's happening. And holy shit, man. This match is going to happen at the fucking Dome. I'm staying up.
Oof.
I'm staying up to watch this.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I'm staying up for.
Like, they did it like the Sonata match was like whatever. But this is like, it's Danielson in Japan.
Right.
You know, like I don't remember the last time he was in Japan. I don't know if he's ever been in Japan. I'm assuming he was like a few times in like his ROH days. I don't know that for a fact. I assume he was. But he's never done anything with New Japan, I don't think, like officially. So this is going to be crazy. I'm so excited. And no, it's still in like a month and a half. Yeah, 2 months. 2 months exactly. Yeah. It's in exactly 2 months. But man, I can't wait for this. It's going to be crazy. Man, I think Danielson's going to win again. I'm going to say it right now. 2 months ahead. Danielson is winning twice. He's winning again, and the New Japan fans are going to be really pissed, and it's going to be awesome. We can preview Dynamite, and we can pretty much. I think we can wrap it up after that if you want. And we can kind of give some predictions, and then So upcoming Dynamite, as we talked about, we've got Joe versus Lee, which I'm not sure who's winning. I think Lee's got a fair chance here. That's probably the match I'm the most excited for next week.
That match should be great. I think Keith does, because like I said, Joe's had it a good while now, like
longest reigning, in fact. He's broken the record as well.
Probably by a good amount.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless they've got like a really good challenger for Joe lined up, like who else? Unless it's gonna be Mark Briscoe, but like that ship's kind of sailed. He lost.
I guess they could always come back to it, I guess.
Yeah, but like you can't.
You gotta have a good reason to come back.
But yeah, and like Mark's gonna lose to Jay White, so like you're gonna have him lose to Jay White and then challenge right away to Joe. Like doesn't make. You'd have to build it back up, which I guess they could, but like I can't see it. I feel like Joe's just gonna
get the building back up too. Like,
yeah, and how much longer is Joe gonna hold the belt? You know what I mean? It's been forever, man. But yeah, I'm not gonna convince myself Lee is winning, but I would tell people that there's a very good chance Lee is winning here. I can really see it. I think it makes a lot of sense. And it would be a great way to get Lee like instantly back into the fold and be like, oh my God, this guy's important again. So we've got MJF versus Garcia. MJF's just going to win, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt.
It's going to be a good match. That's probably the match I'm like the least interested in, not in a negative way, just because I don't see much of anything. But I could be wrong. There could be some bullshit that happens during the match. We'll see. Julia versus a returning Red Velvet. Yeah, that's very cool.
I'm trying to. Red Velvet was a little bit better. I think wasn't she a little bit better last time she had a match?
I thought she was quite good. She's been gone for a while, and I thought she was really making some good strides before. And she had a really good match with Jade. In fact,
that
was really good on pay-per-view. I think.
She was one of those that was slowly improving, so I like to see what she can do.
Yeah, I'm excited for Julia to get a match and for Red Velvet to get a match again. The only thing here is that kind of a bummer to bring Red Velvet back just to lose.
True.
But I will reserve judgment until after the match. Mr. Briscoe, Mark Briscoe against Jay White. Also very excited about this. I think that's going to be a more technical match with a lot of emotion. Mark's really good at that emotion stuff, and he's a good baby face. So I think that's going to be fun. I think Jay White is going to win, obviously, and I think it's you that I don't know if it's you that brought it up on the chat, but like both MJF and Jay, like both champions are defending, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting angle that I hope that they like really hammer down story-wise, because I think they could do some fun stuff with that. Even like the champions are both going to win, but they could add some like some doubt and some fuckery and maybe some one-upmanship as well.
True.
And then we've got Swerve against Penta, which should also be all singles matches.
Listen, I think that could be the match of the night there, though. Both
Swerve Penta, yeah. Good. That's gonna be the spot foo match of the night for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're gonna do all this crazy shit. They're gonna do a lot of flips, and I swear is really good against those lucha guys. Like for obvious reasons, he was in Lucha Underground, right? So, and I'm thinking that there's probably gonna be. I could see Hangman getting involved again in this since Swerve kind of messed with him on Dynamite this week. I could see Hangman messing with Swerve here.
True.
And I don't see Swerve losing, but I can see him getting close to losing because of some Hangman BS, and then probably some sort of brawl after.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it for the Dynamite preview. A lot, like, I don't know, we went like a whole hour about all the stuff we liked, and we didn't even talk about like match per match. There's a lot of stuff we didn't talk about, right? So plenty of good stuff happening in AEW. If you're reading that it's dying or that you're worried about all this stuff, like, don't worry about this stuff so much. You know, don't expect everybody to like everything. That's fine too, but like, AEW is not dying. They're still producing some really fun stuff that's worth checking out, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, it's not the end of the world, man. There's lots of good stuff. Don't worry so much about Flair coming in. I know that's being a big point of contention for a lot of people this week, but it's just
my third title. God damn it!
he wasn't even on TV this week, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not too big, too much.
I don't think he will be. I reserve the right to be wrong. I'm going to choose to be positive about this, and then that's more of a symbolic gesture, and he'll be here maybe once or twice up until the pay-per-view next year, and that'll be that. If it starts being a weekly thing and people want to complain, they'll be right to complain, and I will have to agree with them. But right now, that's not the case. So let's just focus on some awesome wrestling.
True.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for everyone who watched, and thank you once again, Mr. Blaze, for the nice chat.
Oh yeah.
Have a good day, man.
You too.
Cheers, everyone.